Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Cody Underground. I am Cody Willard. This week, technically, the Cody Underground is not a podcast, which sometimes it is. This is a live stream, first time ever on Facebook live stream. Welcome, Facebook peeps, friends, family, and you can always find me on YouTube. I'll probably post this on my podcast channel. We're going to take questions. I got lots of emailed questions. I've got questions in the chat room at the Trading with Cody. If you're not a subscriber to Trading with Cody, go to tradingwithcody.com. I post all of my trades, all of my investments. I tell you what I own, how much, not in too much detail, but I do tell you what my largest positions are, my smallest positions are, highest rated, what stocks I'm liking, when I'm buying and selling. I analyze the economy and politics like nobody else. I'll tell you that much. My viewpoint is my own. Anyway, Trading with Cody subscribers. Sorry about the I Am app not working. The I Am Cody Willard app. The live stream's not been working. So at any rate, guys, let's hit it. Start off. As usual, I'll run over here and just check out Market Watch, Wall Street Journal, and see what the stocks are doing as I start my call. Through the roof! Up and up and up. Ever since last Thursday, a week ago today, market was down 400 points intraday, the Dow was. We're up, 1,200 points since then. Look. In the grand scheme of things, what is the whole idea behind investing? Why do you risk your hard-earned capital or inherited capital, wherever you got your capital, gambled capital, where you luckily won your capital? I don't care. But the point is, if you've got capital, why do you put it in the stock market? Why do you put it in Bitcoin? Why do you do anything with it? Because you're trying to get a return on it. But beyond that, it's for security. It's so you can sleep at night, so you can take care of your family, you can eat, be clothed. That is why we have money. That's the whole point, right? And tie this back to the stock market and where we are in the cycle is, look, we've run the Dow Jones itself has run from 6,000 at the bottom in 2008, when I wrote an article, by the way, on Wall Street Journal called "Don't Panic Now That We're Here, It's Time to Buy." That was 10 years ago, though. And we're now, up from 6, it's quadrupled. It's at 24,000 plus now. And I still own stocks, and I still plan to own stocks, and I'm still mostly bullish. But I've been trimming stocks today. NVIDIA, which I've owned for 2 years, SolarEdge, which I've owned for a year and a half. And look, you don't have to be all in or all out. A friend of mine, very famous friend, originally from Ruidoso, we've been talking a lot about his investments lately. Anybody Facebook Live who's watching me from Ruidoso, you know what I'm talking about. And frankly, probably half the people elsewhere do too. Anyway, Neil and I have been talking about his investments, and he reads Trading with Cody and owns Trading with Cody stocks, and I actually helped him figure out how to buy with his real brokers and everything. And anyway, the same conversation that we were just having that I'm talking about with you guys right here is, he's like, hey, should I be buying some more of these things? You write about these things, and you're really bullish most of the time when you talk about your specific stocks. Revolution Investing, we've got stocks that have gone up 300%, 1,000%, or even Apple up 10,000%. He's like, we need more of those. I'm like, of course we do. We all try. That's what I do all day. I try to find more of those. But at this moment in time, I don't know that the opportunities are just outrageously great. Valuations are through the roof. NVIDIA, when I bought it, was not trading at 10 times sales. The stock has gone from 30 to 260. It's now trading at more than 10 times next year's projected revenues. Not earnings, revenues. This is a $120 billion market cap for a company that's doing $12 billion in sales. And it's great. It's growth. That's why I bought it 2 years ago. But we don't have to plow into it right now. That's why I'm trimming some of it right now. We don't want to be greedy. And another point I will make, I went into the Trading with Cody subscribers this morning, and the post I sent out was 2 months ago, I was getting so many messages from emails, Facebook messages, whatever, tweets from people who were begging me to tell them it would be okay to buy cryptos, that their cryptocurrency would be okay, that Bitcoin was going to come back to 20,000 or 15,000. And there was a lot of pain out there and anguish. Well, fast forward 45 or 50 days here, almost 2 months, and Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies have bounced 40, 50% off their lows from that moment when I was getting inundated with painful, regretful, hopeful questions about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. But right now that things have bounced, it's the greed's back. Greed's back, baby. The whole idea that there are hundreds of cryptocurrencies, 100 of which or so are worth more than $1 billion. Bitcoin worth more than $100 billion. These companies, these cryptocurrencies don't have assets. They don't have earnings. There's no cash flow supporting valuations in these things. And again, granted, guys, I bought Bitcoin when it was at 105 years ago. I am a believer in cryptocurrencies and in blockchain. But this all ties into what I was talking about, the stock market too. It's a matter of timing. Bitcoin at 100 is not Bitcoin at 10,000 today. Nvidia at 30 with a $12 billion market cap is not Nvidia today at a 260 with a $120 billion market cap. So, look, if you're in the stock market, if you own mutual funds, great. But maybe trim a little. Maybe just be a little bit patient. Remember 2008 or remember 2013 or 14. We get crashes sometimes, guys, even mini crashes. If the market's down 20%, are you going to be losing sleep at night? Are you going to be stressed out? If you are, then trim a little bit. That's my point. Just timing of this moment is probably not the best time ever to be loading into stock markets like crazy. I'm going to start off with the Trading with Cody subscriber questions, and then friends and family and peeps over there on fans, frankly. I still have fans. Used to be almost famous. People on Facebook, I'll take your questions too, even if you're not a Trading with Cody subscriber, as a bonus, because I'm a giving guy. Why, this is all tax deductible, right? Basically, I'm a church. No, it's not. I pay taxes, unlike Apple and Facebook and churches. Cody, why do you trim the likes of SolarEdge and Nvidia and Apple? You say that your investment horizon is 10,000 days, right? So my question is, number one, is it to lock in profit, expecting it will fall back because it is overbought? Number two, is it to raise cash for other investments? Number three, is it to pay taxes and gain support the U.S. government's military machine, trillion-dollar debt? Four, is it to buy right, sit tight? How does trimming fit into this context? Thank you, Norman, for the question. And it doesn't have to be any of those four, by the way. There can be a million reasons to trim. And I'm not going to address each of his questions and why he thinks I might be trimming. Let me just tell you why. Because I might be wrong. I still think Nvidia has upside. But my God, when you buy a stock 2 years ago that goes up 1,000% in 2 years, or 700%, I think is what I'm actually up on it, take a little off the table. You sell 10% of that and you've got almost as much money as you started off with in that investment. Sell 15% of it, and you've taken out every dollar you put in it, and the rest is gravy, and you've got 6 times more still invested in that stock. So that's why I do it. It's just because I want to be able to sleep tonight. I don't want to lose sleep because and also I've seen already in my lifetime since I've been on Wall Street in 22 decades, so I've seen 2 crashes. The year 2000 to 2002, 2008. Those 2 crashes, I don't know if I'm scarred by them, because frankly I sold everything almost and all my stocks and closed my hedge fund and took a TV anchor job at Fox in 2008, 2007, actually right before that crash. But I don't want to lose a bunch of money, and stocks do go down sometimes. It happens. So we trim. I take my own advice. I'd be a little more cautious right now than I was 5 years ago when I was very aggressively buying and bullish. Good question, Norm. Okay, here. Cody, Synaptics missed earnings last night. How do you feel about it? SYNA is the stock symbol there. I don't own it. I think I might have owned it for a year, maybe a few years back. But look, it's mostly a touch sensor supplier company to Apple, Samsung, BlackBerry, these types of companies. And it's a great business, but, you know, this is always a changing business. And supplying Apple and other companies like that is not always the most profitable thing. Apple really puts pressure on their suppliers like Walmart does, or like any giant corporation does. They put pressure on suppliers to keep the costs of the goods down so that margins can be higher. I don't own Synaptics, partly for that reason, and, you know, I've owned Apple, and I think it's better. I'd rather own Apple than Synaptics. Here's the question from Anish. Between BlackBerry and Synaptics, what are your thoughts, and which one would you invest? Look, BlackBerry's a tricky situation. If they can leverage their car presence, that they're in auto dashboards already, there's some potential upside. They could be the safe and secure Android phones, the de facto standard of safe and secure Android phones. I don't know if they're going to pull it off, though. And I'm losing faith in BlackBerry's attempts to do so. They got to get some revenue growth, and they have not had it. I wouldn't own either. I wouldn't rush out and buy either BlackBerry or Synaptics at this particular moment. It's the answer to your question, Anish. Cody, please explain the rationale for trimming a stock that I plan on holding for a long time, 4 to 5 years. I don't panic and sell if it drops, so I don't feel there is a major problem with the company to precipitate a big drop. Why sell? Sort of the same question that the prior question is. And the mentality of these questions from Trading with Cody subscribers alone makes me bearish. I love you guys, but you sound greedy. You got a stock that's up 700%. Yesterday I was trimming Axogen, AXGN. I bought it at $4 less than 2 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. It's at 44 today. Trim. I don't know if I trimmed it yesterday, but the point is I wrote about it yesterday, and I have trimmed Axogen. I didn't trim it yesterday, but I trimmed it above 40 recently, and I will trim it again if it gets to 50. Because it could end up that Apple has been fraudulent. It could end up that Axogen has got problems that they weren't disclosing. It could end up, and I don't think that's the case, or I would have sold it, but anything can happen. There could be an exogenous event tomorrow that makes the stock market crash 30%. There could be solar flares. I don't know, man. You just don't be greedy. We trim when we can. When stocks are through the roof, when we own a stock that's gone up hundreds of percent, even if it's doubled in very short time frame, I will probably trim a little bit. 5 or 10% here and there. Let's not be greedy. To quote Jim Cramer again, I don't think I did that yet today, but to quote Jim Cramer, as I often do, because he was a big influence in starting my hedge fund and learning how to invest. And even though I disagree with Jim on all kinds of specific stocks and his view of the world even, and whatever, point being, wisdom from Jim Cramer. Bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. Let's not be piggish. You got stocks that are up hundreds of percent, trim a little. People want me to ask, here's a question. Cody, I bought a little of the, I recently, for non-trading with Cody subscribers, here's an update. I recently did actually buy a new cryptocurrency that I didn't own before. I called it the Amazon of cryptos. And if you want to know what it is, go to tradingwithcody.com, sign up, and you can see it. Question that this subscriber is asking me says he did buy a little of that cryptocurrency, and he's got it at a wallet called Binance. And he wants to know, what is the recommendation for storing a cryptocurrency, whether it be Bitcoin or the one I recently recommended that's not named Bitcoin? And the answer to your question is, I don't have a good answer. You're taking a risk. I lost Bitcoins that I bought at 100 because they were stored at Mt. Gox, and Mt. Gox got hacked. And I lost, I don't know, a lot of Bitcoin that was worth real money now. It wasn't that big a deal when it was worth a few $100 when that happened. But in the years since those Bitcoins were stolen out of an online wallet, Bitcoin went through the roof, and that is painful to even think about. So look, you're taking a risk storing your cryptocurrencies anywhere. You're taking a risk owning a cryptocurrency, and I am not going to pretend that I have a good answer on where to store it on a digital wallet, because I will not vouch for any of them. They're probably all hackable. Everything's hackable. So look, you got to be careful. Best way is to print it out and put it in a safe or something. But that doesn't even make that much sense anymore, does it? Because then it's not a cryptocurrency, it's a print. Be careful. But yeah, I do own a cryptocurrency, and I own a couple of online wallets, and I should be pulling them off so they're safer. Next question. This guy's following up his question about why sell. He says, it's not about greed, it's about the time horizon. What are you talking about? This guy says, my grandfather bought his grandkids Coca-Cola in 1954, sold the last of it in 2000. Not greed, patience. Look, I'm not telling you to even end up selling all of it ever. But when you have a stock that goes up hundreds of percent in a very short time frame and measured in years or months, you're greedy not to trim a little. That's my point. My opinion. Don't be greedy. Be fearful, especially when other people are being greedy. And did I mention people are being greedy right now? Down to 3% on my computer. I got to get some water. I'm going to grab a charger and a cup of water, and then I will hit some more answers and questions. Should have thought it through better, huh, peeps? I'll get the water in a minute. Let's get the computer charged up and keep answering questions while I'm got you enraptured. Hope my shirt was tucked in back there. No nip slips on from Cody, Facebook Live. So, there we go. Any other questions from Train with Cody people in the chat room or emails here? They are obviously the priorities, not you free riders, freeloaders. Well, all right. Where's my chat room? Boy, we got lots of questions. Great. Thought I was going to skimp out on these. Cody, what's your view on GME? It's a value play, and it's quite hated, I would say. Thank you, Bob. What's the upside of GameStop? I mean, you remember when here's a good example of management decisions determining future. I mean, it all comes down to just singular decisions sometimes. GameStop was a lot like Netflix when Netflix was still sending out discs and mailing discs, DVDs. And you'd order a DVD and it'd come, you'd watch it, put it back in a self-addressed stamped envelope and send it back. Not self-addressed, but to send it back to the company. And Netflix had a visionary running the company and said, look, that's not going to fly in the streaming world. So he had a vision and became Netflix. And now Netflix is a $100 billion plus company. GameStop was worth more than Netflix several times in the past 15 years. And if GameStop had ever had a CEO who made the decision, hey, we need to be the forefront of downloading digital streaming of and playing and watching of video games, they would have bought Twitch instead of Amazon buying Twitch, and they could have been something. What's your upside on GameStop as it is now? Sorry, my phone rang. Is it supposed to somehow figure out a way? Is GameStop suddenly going to figure out a way to sell more video games? Are you hoping the stock will just go up because it's got a 12% dividend yield, and you're hoping that value buyers will take a liking to it, even though the fundamentals have been continuing to decline? I don't own Netflix at this particular moment, mainly because of valuation. I sold it a year ago, way too early. Maybe 2 years ago, I don't even remember. But I should have trimmed it, not sold it. Anyway, Netflix, that is. GameStop, no interest. It's way too much time on a specific stock question. Cody, why do you hate Micron's management team? I don't hate Micron's management team. When asked about Micron last week, you said you did not like their management. Big difference between hate and don't like. I don't like their management, but I'm not hateful. Like, the bottom line is they've got too much debt, and I've seen over years Micron overpromise, underdeliver. They have done a great job the last few years. The industry itself, DRAM, storage stuff for computers, that stuff has been consolidated down like everything else under the Republican-Democrat regime that doesn't enforce the antitrust laws that they're supposed to, apparently. I don't know why I have them on the books if we're not going to enforce them. But there's not very many vendors anymore. So Micron might be an okay investment for that reason alone. But that is because they have benefited from protections from the government, subsidies from the government, and being allowed to roll up all of the competitors, which I don't give any credit to the management for that. That's just oligarchic stuff from Russia, like they do in Russia. So, no, I'm not impressed. I like Western Digital, which bought my long-held SanDisk, which made a ton of money in SanDisk before Western Digital bought it. All right, more questions in the chat room here. Uh, Cody, I don't have any shorts and would wait for you to give us a signal to short maybe Pandora. I've shorted Pandora when it was in the 20s and it's been crushed, and I'm still holding that short, even though, yes, I've taken some profits on that too. Any other company you're targeting here to short? Yes, I'm always looking for new shorts, especially with me being relatively not bullish at this particular moment and preaching caution. But this particular moment, you'll be the first to know, trading subscriber Rick Ma 66. You and every other Trading with Cody subscriber. Cody, Sienna. I remember years ago, maybe 15 years ago, you liked it. Could it qualify for your shopping list these days? No. The telecom supplier industry is not consolidated down enough to really benefit investors in the way, like, say, DRAM and Micron's industry has. So I'm not interested in very many telecom plays. I do have a small cap telecom play for Trading with Cody subscribers know about, but no, Sienna's not interesting to me right now. Cody, what makes you think Amazon will adopt a cryptocurrency? What is their driving force? Thank you. I don't know if I ever said Amazon's going to adopt a cryptocurrency. What I did say is Amazon and other Microsoft and Salesforce, CRM, these companies are probably going to dominate blockchain. And they are actually good blockchain investments. I don't know that Amazon will create an outright cryptocurrency, but Amazon is already starting to really go and allow people to build stuff on blockchain technology inside of Amazon. And I think that's just the very beginning of that trend. Cody, any thoughts about Spotify? Would you be a seller or buyer at current levels? I'd rather buy. I wouldn't bet against Spotify. Spotify is the closest thing, as I think I saw an analyst say, Spotify is the closest thing to Netflix in music that you could have. And there's a lot of parallels there to be had. I like Spotify. I think the management's been brilliant, and I've watched them and read about them for 10 years. I remember talking about Spotify back on Fox Business 10 years ago. So, but the valuation there is a little too rich for me, like a lot of things in the stock market right now, and I'm not probably going to buy it personally anytime soon. Cody, there were a few stocks you said you would nibble soon, including Western Digital and Verizon. Your thoughts on current price levels and whether you would buy second and third tranche in them respectively? Yes, I'm ready to. I don't know why I haven't. I've been busy. I'll send out a trade alert. Probably going to nibble on both of those. Cody, you mentioned in your last untrade alert that you are not sure about puts anymore. Do you still think the triple Q is a good hedge? And will you let these puts ride to expiration? The reason I ask is that I have seen you writing most of your puts to expiry, whether they are in profit or loss, as you're happy with the increase in price of your longs. Yeah, that's your question there sort of underscores what one of my best mentors used to always tell me about the stock market, and that is, may you always, wise man say, may you always lose money on your hedges. Meaning, look, I want to lose money on, I don't want to lose money on my hedges. I never want to lose money. But the idea behind a hedge is that it's protecting the other parts of your portfolio. And if I'm generally bullish and generally long, then when I add some put hedges, it's because I want a little protection against maybe something I'm not seeing, maybe there could be a crash, something. So the idea would be all of my main stocks in my real portfolio that I still am writing and bullishly keep going up. And the put hedges, they they lose money if that happens. And so, yeah, a lot of times, most of the time, when I buy put hedges for the last 7 years during this bubble blowing bull market that I have been riding bullishly and mostly long and sometimes aggressively long, it's okay to lose money on those puts because the rest of the portfolio is more than making up on it. I wish I never lost money on anything. If I lose money on the puts, I wish I hadn't bought them. But you got to just be cool, man. In your book, Cody, The Bitcoin Revolution and the Great Cryptocurrency Crash, available for non-subscribers of tradingwithcody.com for the wonderful price of $3.49. You're very funny, Gambler15. You mentioned Litecoin and Ripple as two potential cryptos that could survive. Do you believe these will be two that stick around and make it? And has Stellar moved into this group? I don't think Litecoin's going to make it anymore. Ripple, I still think has a pretty good chance. I think Bitcoin's better than Litecoin. I've always said that. I've never owned Litecoin, but I thought it might be one that could survive. And I sort of think this ship has sailed. Cody, what are your top 3 cryptos other than Bitcoin that you believe will survive the great cryptocurrency crash? Well, the one I recently bought and Bitcoin are really probably the only 2 that I feel most confident about this particular moment. Ethereum is probably up there. Amazon's blockchain initiatives look like they're being built on or associated with Ethereum. But I'm not buying anything but the one that I bought, the Trading with Cody subscribers know about recently. All right, that is it for the Trading with Cody questions, it looks like. Trading with Cody subscriber questions. Let's see what we got over here on Facebook. Let me get some water. Now, I thought on Facebook Live, you guys were actually even supposed to be able to pop on it. Oh, invite friends. Yeah, I guess I could. Let's see if that works. No, done. I don't want to invite friends to watch. I thought that you guys were able to actually engage with me on here. Can't you ask me questions live? I can see you pop up down at the bottom. I'm saying that it works. Maybe I got to do it on my pro page account. 22 comments. How do I see them? There we go. Newbie question. I only have a small amount to invest, about $3,000. What would you recommend? I can guarantee you can triple your money in 30 days. 2 words, Bitcoin. And I'm joking. That was, I just want to be clear. Not going to triple your money on Bitcoin next 30 days. Hey, look, not everything, but money very much can be relative. $3,000 to someone who has no rent, no mortgage, is 65 years old and, saved well but not rich. $3,000 can be a lot of money to someone. $3,000 to me when I was 23 years old moving to New York City was a hell of a lot of money. It's food. So, I'm just trying to say, look, it's not like you should phrase your thing with a small amount of capital, because it could be a big amount of capital to you. And therein underscores the point I'm going to make, is that be careful with your $3,000. It's hard-earned money. And risking it in cryptocurrencies or in stocks is risky. And look, if you're a local who's asking that question there on Facebook, send support at tradingwithcody.com an email and talk to you about it or something. But there is no easy answer. $3,000. Look, maybe buy a couple of stocks, maybe buy a mutual fund, maybe buy a tiny bit of a cryptocurrency that I like or two. But just know that you're not going to turn 3,000 into 300,000 unless you win the lottery or pick a couple of amazing stocks that go up a bunch. I mean, it's just, it's just hard. Just know that. I can't figure out how to look at these dang comments on here, but there's more back there. Cody, I miss your show. Thanks, Michael Hyman. I don't know that I miss TV. Sometimes I wonder if I should have kept that platform because I'm so saddened and disheartened by the endless partisan propaganda from all cable news channels. All television news is partisan based. The premise of everything, of every discussion, is partisan. Are you liberal and Democrat? Democrats are not liberal. Are you conservative and Republican? Republicans are not conservative. So sometimes I regret leaving the platform. On the other hand, my quality of life is much better not doing TV. And I do, I like the fact that I can look in the mirror and know that I fought what I think was evil in the Republican-Democrat regime and the wars and the bailouts and corporatism, corruption, every day, and spoke my truth. I'm certainly biased, of course, everybody's biased, but I was never partisan. I never sold out to the forces that wanted me to just please play along and be Republican while you're on Fox. Be liberal if you're going to be on CNN. Let me rephrase. Be Democrat if you're going to be on CNN. And what I'm telling you is Republicans are not free marketers. The Koch brothers are not libertarians. CNN is not liberal. It's all corporatist. It's all premised on stuff that I don't want to be a part of. So sometimes I regret leaving the platform and the fact that maybe I could be making more of a difference in fighting partisan propaganda that's being consumed around the world on television, news. But then again, hey, I'm not Atlas. I don't have the world on my shoulders. At least not anymore. Thanks for the kind words, though. Cody, recently divorced and need a high dividend return. What would be some good stocks to buy? I don't know. I don't just off the top of my head know a bunch of high dividend stocks, but the ones that I personally own would be Verizon and Intel are probably the two highest dividend paying stocks. Apple pays a decent dividend, but Intel, when I bought it, had a 5% dividend. The stock's run quite a bit since then, so the dividend is not nearly as attractive. Verizon does have about a 5% dividend, and I think the stock could double, triple, or more in the next few years. So there you go. Hi, Cody. Yay, cryptos. No, 7. No. Hard wallet. But yes, hard wallet for cryptos is the safest way to do it. But I don't like saying yay, cryptos. Should be scared of cryptos at this particular moment, in my personal humble, or not so humble opinion. Michael Hyman tells the person looking for high dividends to buy REIT stocks. No, do not listen to that guy. I love you, Michael, and thanks for the kind words about the show, but what do you know about REIT stocks and which REIT stocks? Real estate too has been on a heck of a run. Just be careful out there. Don't reach for yield. Kelly, recently divorced. I'm sorry to hear that. Cody, what wallets do you own? Let's not get into it. I don't want to even look like I'm recommending or endorsing or in any way affiliated with any of the platforms. I'm not comfortable with it. Or the wallets. Thanks, Michael. I'm very new to all of this. I grew up with Cody and Ruidoso. Love Ruidoso, love Ruidosoans, and love both you, Kelly, and your sister. Had crushes on you guys growing up. I had a crush about half the population of girls in Ruidoso growing up, though. But at any rate, just be careful, is my point, Kelly. Uh, John Underwood, have you read Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas? I think I read most of that book when I first moved to New York many years ago. I have not, though, John. If you've got a copy, John next door, as a matter of fact. Oh, that's really fair. You could have come over here and asked me that question in person, John, attorney next door there. Lobbyist. Democrat, Republican lobbyist. Doesn't matter which party it is. But I love you, John, anyway, and I haven't read the book, and I will if you hand it to me. Cody sounds more relaxed now. Since I'm not on the show, I assume you mean Michael, and that is correct. Michael's sitting on Long Island. Boone Danny, hey, bro. That's not a question, Boone. Sunil Bhatia, what happened to the iPhone app? Is it working yet? No. Can't figure out. We got some problems. Technology's not easy. That's why I'm doing it on Facebook today instead of on the closed I Am Cody Willard app. Cody, business is about to pick up. Blockchain technology will revolutionize logistics. Amen. And bless you. Cody, what's your price target on NVIDIA by next year? I don't typically put price targets on anything because if I put a price target on Apple after I bought it at $1 and I put that it could triple, then I wouldn't have held it the whole time. So, no idea. It's possible. I don't actually think NVIDIA's got a whole lot of upside for the next year or two. I think it could be capped out right here. I think it could be 3 years before it gets back to 260, where it's trading at its all-time high at this very moment. I'm not calling it top, but I'm just saying. I don't have my price target for NVIDIA next year, 260. 5 years from now, could be 500 or 750. But that valuation's pricing in a lot of growth right now. Okay, Cody, we need Cody back broadcasting from a bar with longer hair and a crooked loose tie, LOL. Thanks, Adam. Very nice. Adam, also, I work for the Koch brothers. And yes, you are right, Cody. Koch brothers are not libertarian. Have you guys never read, like what drives me crazy too is, I'm not a big Ayn Randite. I love Fountainhead and I love Atlas Shrugged. But if you read Fountainhead or Atlas Shrugged, the whole principles, much of the principles that Ayn Rand is talking about is about corporations that get the government to give them welfare and protections from other businesses and competitors. And the Taggart, remember the Taggart Railroad, Dagny, and her brother was just constantly getting bailouts and protections and new laws and help from the government for his corporation and her corporation, because they're brother and sister. But the Koch brothers, I mean, that is them. They're the brother of Dagny. They're the guys who are out there begging the government to help them build a pipeline. They're begging the government to help them fight unions. They're begging the government to help them tariff stuff from other countries. Begging the government to help them create NAFTA and then undo NAFTA and create TPP and then undo TPP. And every bit of the way, just getting their little itty bitty nuanced little rule changes that are going to protect their corporations and enhance their margins and profits. And that is not libertarianism. That is not what Ayn Rand that is what Ayn Rand warned you about. And you people who think Koch brothers are libertarians, if you think you're voting Republican, are somehow being libertarian and constitutional, if you're as delusional as someone who's voting for Democrats and think you're doing something for poor people. So anyway, yeah, thanks, Adam. I know I'm right about the Koch brothers. Cody, is Bitcoin real? Isn't silver and gold better? I mean, it's not like you can buy food at Walmart with it, but you can sell silver and gold and get the currency that's worth more at the time, right? Why do you have to pick one or the other? There's a time and place for everything. I own Bitcoin because I bought it years ago. I don't have to sell it to buy gold. I can own some gold too, and I do. I have gold that I bought years ago. And a little silver. The solar flares, if and when they ever hit, are going to ruin your cryptocurrencies, at least temporarily. And you would want to have some gold and silver and cash to eat, to buy gasoline with. But that doesn't mean you can't also own some cryptos. I'm tired. This is 47 minutes of rambling on. 45 minutes and 52 seconds according to Facebook. 45:49 according to YouTube. It's because a phone call came on in the YouTube. I lost 6 seconds of recording there. Last questions. Cody, are you going to step into the financial podcast world anytime soon? Actually, yeah, I have. The Cody Underground podcast. I was doing it like once a month. I'll get back to doing that. Even these, I used to just turn these into a podcast and upload it. I'll do that. Go to trainwithcody.com if you want to become really, really rich really quick. You know, I used to do a thing on, I was actually there for the pilots. I was one of the guys that was on the team when Fast Money was launched 12 or 13 years ago on CNBC. And I was also Larry Kudlow's sidekick at the time on CNBC. And CNBC, by the way, does often premise things in a partisan manner, but they're not outright partisan. There's not like an outright Republican or Democrat angle to everything you hear. On CNBC at least. But I digress. Kudlow, clearly Republican, by the way. And he and I used to get in some pretty darn good debates because I was, even back then, anti-Republican Democrat regime. What did I say? Fast Money. I used to there when we actually launched that TV show. And when I left CNBC and went to Fox and quickly there became an anchor on Fox, I actually used to started to do a segment called Slow Money. And that's what I'll leave you with today. It's all about the slow money, not the fast money. And trading with Cody is a little bit of a misnomer because it's mostly investing for the long term with Cody at tradingwithcody.com. Peace, love, and happiness, everybody. I'm out.